What's up, y'all? It's your girl Key here with Key's Korner. I know it's been a while since we recorded an episode, but we are coming back to you with a new episode. We got some new shit coming to y'all. We've been in the works, behind the scenes, getting things done, putting together some new shows for you guys, and so today we are going to be discussing a few different topics, opening up about self-love, our journeys, and where we've been lately. Today on the show I have Coop here with us. You want me to call you Coop, or what you want me to call you?
Call me Coop.
Okay. So we got Coop on the show with us, and of course y'all know I'm Kiera. Y'all can just call me Key. But we're welcoming Coop to the show. He's going to be doing a few more episodes with us and just kind of giving a male's perspective on his journey, and just giving other tips to help other men that would like to be on their spiritual journey or get started on their journey, and just help encourage and lift one another up. Okay, so welcome, Coop. Yay! We're gonna put
applause.
We're gonna put some applause.
This is a disclaimer. No, nobody is saying that I'm a licensed shaman and I know all about the being in the universe. The only thing is, like, I'm only 25, but I feel like what plagues our society is miseducation. So in order to disseminate that and take that away, then that's why you got to put some wisdom and knowledge up and down. And this is why I'm here. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I heard a great saying that the thing is, the man who knows he knows nothing knows everything. So
facts. I feel you on that. So thank you for that. So can you tell us about who you are, what do you do, and let's just start with those two questions. Who are you and what do you do?
It's so crazy because, man, I'm never used to nobody asking me this. I'm always the other side. I'm always you. And how you doing me is weird. Because I don't like the attention on me, but
it's okay.
I'm a guy gonna use me as you should. You know what I'm saying? So, my name's Darren Cooper. I'm born and raised from Ruston, Louisiana. I'm 25. I played on the Ruston High, football team and the track. I ran track for a year. If anybody from Ruston watched this. But after that, I just went straight into the workforce. I didn't go the traditional route. Not saying anything is wrong with it, but I just seen what suits me well. So yeah, I just went straight to working, and pretty much I've been working on myself since probably I knew it was a problem. I knew I had things that I had to work on in 2017 and 2018. That's when I actually started, doing the work and making it, actually a tangible thing. And so ever since then, this is why you see the person that you see now. It's because of it.
Nice, thank you. So to piggyback on what you were saying, just getting started on your journey, no matter what path you take, I know we have to learn how to be human down here. So we got to learn how to operate, So some of us have different roles that we play down here. So with you being you and playing the role that you play, you're touching different people in the places that you're going and the things that you're doing. So, yeah, can you tell us a little bit more of where you're at on your spiritual journey and where you've been? Where did you come from on your spiritual journey, seeing that you started in 2017, 2018?
Okay, so should I start where I came from or where I'm at now?
Yeah, start at where you came from leading up to where you're at now.
Okay, so personally I came from I ain't gonna say it was a difficult childhood, just because to me it's not really difficult because that's what I'm used to. But when I tell other people about it, then it's when they're like, ugh, it's crazy, wow. But I came from a sort of abusive background, as I feel like a lot of people somewhat do, and that's why it dictates who they personally come to develop as. So yeah, I came from that, but I didn't really use it as a crutch. I use it as a strength, to enable, to better myself. So instead of looking at it negative, basically in layman's terms, I look at it as a positive. So I was like, all right, so basically something happened to me when I was young, and then I held it out my mind for about 12 to 15 years. Didn't really tell just kept it to myself. And then I ended up telling my mom about it and telling my pops, And then after that, that's when I was kind of in the midst of working on it, So I know, like I said, 2017 was when I knew, all right, so something was a little off for me. I was depressed, anxious, would mentally disassociate a lot, and I didn't realize what that was, Right. Sometimes I just, just sit, and I could be having a conversation, or I could just be doing that, and all of a sudden, I'm just staring off into space for about 5 minutes at the most, no ridiculous stuff, but and so, just that, so I basically I seen the symptoms of a problem, but I didn't understand what it was because I never got professionally diagnosed. like growing up, I realized that, you know, as black people or, you know, black people or black men, including black men, but we never get the professional help because we feel like it's taboo.
Yeah, and some people just don't know how, you know, how to go about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you're right, it is taboo. A lot of the times in the black community, it's frowned upon to go get help from therapists or things like that, you know?
That too, and I realized that a lot of people feel like it's weird, or they won't. The first step into, like, if you're just doing self-discovery, self-development, you know, you're trying to get on your spiritual type stuff, you know, is a recognition and acknowledgement.
For sure.
So understanding, okay, yeah, I do have, you know, I feel like, you know, just being real with yourself, because you're not lying. If you just lie to yourself, you're not helping nobody, and you're really hurting yourself. So yeah, just acknowledging, all right, so I know it's something here, and I need to figure out how to better this. So what's the first steps I take? So that's when you got this phone, you got to tap into it. You know, you just didn't pay $1,100 to $1,200 and $1,400 just to take good pictures. You got to access it and use it. So get on Google, get on whatever search engine you use, and start doing your research, start taking notes. You know, get multiple credible sources. Don't just go on YouTube and think that's the end all be all. You know, make sure it got .net or .gov at the end when you're reading, you know, intellectual transcripts, you know, about certain things and all that, and get it from multiple sources. So as you do that, you know, that's when you start, you know, buying books, because I really didn't start reading books until about 2.5 to 3 years ago. So yeah, you just start reading books. You got to understand that your intellectual property is something that they can't take, and it's something that you can, like, you can always build on, but it's at the same time, it's something that you can never master, because it's so much. You're never gonna know everything.
Right. Knowledge is infinite. Knowledge is power. You know, so it's tons of information that you can definitely use to help on pretty much any aspect of life, if that's what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for ways to heal trauma, looking for ways to heal childhood trauma, and just all these things. If you may just be asking questions, you know, curious about, you know, where you're at on your journey. You know, we all tend to question things, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, staying vigilant about what's really going on within you and everything around you, you know. So I respect that, definitely. Knowledge is pure power. The more you know, the better you can make a more conscious decision on how to handle things.
And knowledge is just ubiquitous, and it's just overall beneficial. Why you think people go to college and stuff like that? Right. Is because they gotta acquire the knowledge in order to do the profession or the test they want. So if you don't know nothing, I mean, it's really not helping nobody. You know. So I used to, and it was a point in time to where I used to feel like I used to willingly be ignorant just because it was the cool thing to do when I was growing up in high school. I'm not saying everybody did it, but that's what I got from it, my environment of growing up. So I didn't want to care to read books and nothing like that. You know, I knew that was better, but I'm just like, man, it's a lot of effort. I don't want to do that.
Right.
You know,
and see, that's funny because, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but as a child, I was taught, my aunt and my parents were very serious on us reading, you know. And as a child, I didn't like it. That was something I didn't really enjoy. But the more that they stayed on my ass about reading, the more I'm like, I love this shit. You know, I just started reading more and more. I read more books. I read, pretty much I asked a lot of questions that nobody could answer for me. You know, I was always shut down about the things that went on in my mind, and so nobody could answer those questions for me. So it took for me to really answer those questions for myself. You know, that's self-discovery. That's learning how to pretty much take your own life into your hands. So for those that are on their spiritual journey or just on your life journey overall, you know, you don't necessarily have to be on a spiritual journey, but if you're here, you're on your spiritual journey. You know what I'm saying? So we want to help bridge the gap between the two to where we can all help one another wherever we're at on our path.
And most importantly, making sure is that it's an overall safe space that everybody can, you know, you can talk about whatever you got to deal with, because that's what's the most important, is comfortability and making sure it's a judgment-free zone.
Exactly.
You know, that's how you're gonna get the most authentic. You know,
yes, that safe space, because it's like, you know, I always tell people, you're safe with me. I ain't no judgment. You know what I'm saying? No scruples here, because you never know what people are going through behind the scenes, internally, you know. But we're all here to help one another heal. You know, we've all been through trauma. We've all been through some sort of pain in our lives, and we want to understand a lot of that pain affects who we are to this day. If you don't heal the pain that you've gone through as a child, you tend to carry that same pain with you as an adult, and you're basically operating or learning how to operate out of a hurt inner child. So with that being said, we have to go through that process of healing the inner child so we can operate as fully healed adults.
You gotta also know how to unlearn in order to
relearn. You gotta destroy in order to rebuild.
You gotta realize that, all right, some fucked up things I learned, some messed up things I learned in my life, but like it's a plenty of things that we was taught as men that was like, I don't say it was acceptable, but it was just like, okay, yeah, it's just we'll go with it. Like, men don't really talk about their feelings.
Right.
Are you crying? What you crying? You tough?
Right.
Man, stop crying. But,
and a lot of black men are taught that. They're taught the hostile way. And there's nothing wrong with that, because in some terms you do have to be a little hostile, but at the same time, that's just boundaries. Learning your own boundaries, learning your own, what you will allow and what you won't allow for yourself.
But you gotta have balance. Can't be too
exactly. Hostile. What are some things that helped you along the way to really just get in touch with how you were emotionally and internally that helped you pretty much on your path? What are some things that helped you?
So I guess some introspective and mental things I learned is listening to the good side of your gut. So whenever you get a certain feeling about a certain thing, you got the intuition. Normally, like when you get the gut feeling about something, normally the first answer is correct. That's God's answer. But after that, that's when you question it. And then you'll notice, like, when you choose the second answer, most of the time it's not correct. So listening to your intuition, just, listening to, watching The Omens. It's like, I don't know if you read the book Malcolm X. I mean, not Malcolm X, but The Alchemist. They talk about basically, like, it's like a little subliminal message that God leaves, around, like, everywhere, that we go. So just, really just, that's why they say you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. So just really listening, just, listening with the intent to understand rather than the intent to reply whenever you have a conversation with somebody. Because every time you have a conversation, you gotta understand it's intellectual discourse. So you're not having a conversation with nobody to win it. If you take that approach, you're not taking anything from it, So that, of course, reading books, meditation, and then just being like somewhat, you ain't gotta be a complete, gym person, but just being healthy as a whole. So if you want to go take a couple minutes just to go on a daily walk or anything like that, because that helps with a lot. That helps clear our brain. That's when I get some of my best ideas. Whenever I'm in the midst of doing something that's building like my cardio up or just like working out or something like that, that's, like I said, you can go take a walk. So doing that, what else? I guess being around conducive friends who like got like-minded interests around you, so they keep you focused. They keep you set on your goal and focused on your goal whenever you feel like you're about to veer off. All right, so you hit this person up, hey, what you think about this, and all that. So that communication, so yeah.
Right, thanks, I appreciate that. What I want to talk about is self-love right now. For myself, some self-love tips that I usually practice is just taking time to taking time to really understand what I'm feeling internally, whether that's my feelings that I'm picking up on or the next person's feelings. But for self-love, I usually take time to meditate, read, quiet time. I like quiet mornings, so I usually start my mornings off just in a quiet space to where I can get my thoughts together, pretty much plan my day if it's not already planned for me. But what are some self-love tips that you can give from a male perspective and from a black male perspective that has worked for you, even if you've had to practice certain things and then redo your foundation of self-love and rebuild yourself? How would you say that your self-love tips have worked for you, and what are some self-love tips that have worked for you?
Understanding the concept of equanimity and what that term means. So it just basically means like, you can be in the midst of chaos or, in anarchy, whenever a bunch of crazy stuff going on, but just maintaining, being in the present moment, listening to your breath and not letting anything in life really sway you.
Right.
Taking yourself out the situation when you're in the middle of it. Doing that, I guess, thinking before you speak, listening before you, or think about something before you do it, like self-love tips I'm trying to think about. Communication.
Or just practices that you do.
Communication, very important. So that, something I feel like really important, like finding a passion of yours. Find something, of you that interests you to where you're just not using your idle time of destructive habits.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it could be anything, right? Go garden. Go learn how to cook. Just finding something that you can be busy with and get better with. That's really important. What's something I can reading like one of the most important, really, because like reading taught me so much. And like what's so crazy is like there be people who don't went to college or whatever, and they be telling me, bro, you one of the smartest people I met, but I never went to college. How was that?
Right, I went to like a
semester. It don't make sense. It don't make sense to me. But I'm like, I guess that makes sense because I've been doing this, what I've been on the path for a minute, but it just trips me out. So all I like to do is read, watch interviews, watch documentaries, listen to podcasts. It's mainly the regimen of what I do. Nice. So just gaining that wisdom and knowledge. So it's really focusing, honing in on yourself.
Right.
If you feel like you attached to a habit that you got right now, just you ain't. It's okay to like you're not able to immediately shake it because you're not gonna be able to. Like habits take a while to break. It took a while to build, but just taking just do it slowly, a brick a day, and then after that, it's gonna go away, and then you can start building on a new one. So yeah, man, just constantly just trying to be positive, choose the positive option instead of the negative, because you can just be like, man, nah, I ain't gonna do this, but don't procrastinate, don't do this and that. Like, you just gotta consciously be in your mind making a choice, because you gotta understand too, like you ain't in competition with nobody, you in competition with yourself. That's
there you go.
So.
There you go. I literally just said that to one of our business partners the other day, like, I'm not competing with nobody but myself, because it's like I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday, better than what I was last year, So it takes time to really get to where it is that you want to be. But the discussion that me and Yaya tend to have is the only thing that takes time is resistance. So we have to understand what that resistance is. And even if that's deeply rooted, it could be from, anything. As we were talking about, just childhood traumas and stuff like that. As a child, saying that you carried this trauma with you for quite some time, how did that affect you at the time that you were carrying all that with you? Like, what were you feeling internally as you had this in your mind, and you're living your day-to-day life? Is that something that pretty much stuck with you every day? Or, like for myself personally, let me give you an example. I faced some childhood trauma, just as a little girl, as most of us do, sexual trauma. And I dealt with that as a child, and I was traumatized. And I carried that with me. I think I was traumatized around like 6 or 7. And I carried that with me until I was about 15. And so in that time frame, I grew very angry.
Until you told somebody about it?
Until I told somebody. I was like 6 or 7 when it happened to me, but I didn't tell nobody until I was about 15. And so during that time, I was very angry. I was to the point to where I was a bit irrational. I was very irritable, to where everything irritated me. Like, but I was always fighting for the next person. I was always being the one to say, hey, you can't treat this person like that. I was standing up for everybody else but myself type shit, So I was always the person to take up for the next person. Like, let's say if somebody was bullying you, I'm about to say, hell no, that shit ain't happening here, So with the childhood trauma that I was carrying, exactly, I grew very aggressive and very angry.
I was aggressive when I was a kid. I used to fight a lot.
Exactly. So I would argue adults down, kids down.
My dad was incarcerated for 7 years. He went in my life. I had resentment in my heart. You know? So at that point in my life, when I was young, I just didn't give a fuck.
Right. Me either. Shit, don't give a fuck. But instead of learning how to operate out of that trauma, because that's what you tend to do as a kid, and you don't know how to
hurt people.
Exactly. Hurt people. Heal people. Heal people.
Heal the people.
Heal the people. Exactly. Heal the people.
I went to shit. Let's correct that.
Heal people. Heal people. Okay. So that's the point. We got to get to the point of healing, you know. Until you can help the next person, you got to help yourself. You know, if, ands, or buts about it.
You got to get yourself together. If you
to.
down there bleeding as an analogy, you down there bleeding and you know you're on the battlefield.
You dead. Like,
but you trying to help somebody else, man. You got to get yourself right first. Pat yourself up because you ain't going to be no good to them or you.
Exactly. That's self-sacrificing type shit, you know. So as I got older, I learned how to pretty much, I think I was about maybe 17 or 18 to where I think at 15 I finally came out to my mom and I told her what happened. And it was really life-changing because that very moment, I can tell you, I was in church, y'all. I used to go to church. So I was in church, and in the middle of church, I'm like having this feeling to where I'm like, I'm about to explode. Like, I'm about to implode if I don't say something about this. Like, I started having dreams about the same trauma that I experienced as a little girl. So it was literally like this trauma was following me, you know, and I was carrying this with me.
But I had it's weird. I used to have nightmares for a long time.
Yeah.
But I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I still don't know why. So I had the name sounds crazy. I don't want to say it.
Say it.
It just sounds crazy. Like, when I think of it now, it don't make sense. Alright, so her name used to be,
you can use a fake name if you want to. Nah, if it makes you feel comfortable.
If I'm gonna tell the truth, I'm telling the
truth. Facts. Go ahead.
The name used to be Media Monster.
Who?
Media Monster.
Media Monster.
Now that I think about it, I don't know if it was alluding to like my future, like the media monster. But she used to be a woman, a black woman. And I think that used to like. So I think she went to our church like one time, and she wasn't like nothing. She wasn't even like how the dream, you know, like made her out to be, but it was just consistent of like she was always in my dream, like just tormenting me. All the time.
And did you experience anything from this person?
Nah, never.
But this person was constantly that's questionable because, you know, we decipher dreams around here. We do dream work. So it's like a lot of the times the people that we're seeing in our dream is just a reflection of ourselves. You know, they're just showing up as these people that we might know or might not know. You know, so these faces that we're seeing in our dreams don't necessarily, they could symbolize the next person, but at the same time they symbolize something that's operating subconsciously. They just take on this figure, you know. So as I learned how to decipher my dreams, the older I got, and with the work that I'm doing here, it's just messages from the subconscious. You know, what's going on in the subconscious rules everything. As you learn how to do dream work and things like that, you understand the mind. So the mind is the only thing that you can take with you when you die. The knowledge is the only thing that you can take with you when you die. Everything else is mundane, you know. So seeing that you know, dreamed about this person over and over again, that's questionable because it's like, why? You know, so I question everything like, why? And that's even going back to what I was saying, you know, as I address this with myself and with my mother, as I addressed this, I basically felt this weight lift off of me. Like literally in that moment, I'm like, I feel like I'm free. Like I feel like I've just freed myself from this, you know.
You went all that time without telling her
internally, and I was so scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what my parents' reactions was going to be. I didn't know the situation at hand. I questioned everything, like how is this going to play out if I say something, you know. But it took for me to really want to stand up for myself and to really address what was going on in me, because everybody around me questioned why I was so angry. Everybody around me questioned why I was so at the same time outspoken yet very reserved. You know, I was the type of kid to just go play by myself. I wanted to be by myself. I didn't want to be around other people. That's just how my shit was. It's still like that. I'd rather be by myself than be around other people. But I'm learning how to open up. I'm learning how to just accept other people for where they are on their journey, and learning how to really just be in that space with them. You know,
play the game a lot.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
Naturally went around people.
Yeah.
Much. That's why I'm so secluded now. Probably why. And I still I'm like an introverted extrovert, so I prefer to be by myself. But if I'm exposed to an environment like that, I'm gonna make the best of it. Like if I go to Mardi Gras, I'm not just gonna be like, nah.
Right. It's like, and you know, and it's learning how to operate in different spaces, and you can't necessarily do that until you open up. You know, it's like taking. I'm not gonna give y'all an analogy, fuck that. But I feel you, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to really find a space within yourself to want to say, hey, I want to surround myself with other like-minded individuals and just be in a space to where you know, you want to share yourself, you know, but at the same time you have to heal first, because a lot of people trauma bond, and they bond basically off of their experiences that they've gone through. And it's like, I don't want to trauma bond with nobody. Like that trauma is old. That don't make me who I am. That's just something that I went through, you know? So a lot of the times people wear their trauma, and it's like, I don't want to wear my trauma anymore. That's not who I am. So learning how to not operate out of your trauma and learning how to basically just be in tune with the spaces that you're in. You know, it takes time, it takes practice, but it takes a lot of, first, before you do any of that, it takes isolation. Like, not saying that you have to isolate yourself from everyone, but until you really know how you feel without everybody else telling you how you feel, you won't know. I have
a theory, but it's not pertaining to the subject. It's another subject, and so let's wrap this. Let's see if we can give a conclusion.
Okay.
Basically, just coming from me, staying consistent. Consistency is key. So there's gonna be times where you feel discouraged. There's gonna be times where you feel like you want to give up. That's part of the it's part of the path. It's part of the journey. Heard Nipsey Hussle said whenever he was chasing his passion of rapping and stuff like that, he felt every emotion. He felt, want to give up. He felt all that. But, that's part of it. That's part of the process. That's what makes you have gratitude about where you at. It keeps you consistent, and it keeps you understanding. I understand. Like, I know there's some rappers nowadays, they'll have like their first car in their mansion, like at their mansion, just to like, as soon as they walk out, it's a reminder, like, okay, I remember who I used to be. Let me stay focused. So doing that, staying consistent, being understanding with yourself, not being such a perfectionist, because like I say, it's gonna be times where you mess up. There's gonna be plenty of times to where I had to shake back, like, all right, so I'm back at step 1. All right, let me get back to step 5. All right, I'm back at step 3.
And we died numerous times. When I say we die, it's basically killing off different aspects of ourselves that we no longer want to operate in. That's death. That's death and rebirth. You have to unlearn to relearn. You have to kill an aspect of yourself if you don't want that with you anymore. You have to learn how to not necessarily get rid of it, but learn how to balance that aspect of yourself to manifest something new within yourself,
And through this self-discovery, at least what I realized is, like, I didn't realize what I wanted to do in my life till I was exactly 23. Yeah. And they say the prefrontal cortex don't develop till you're 25.
Right.
So, like, I realized, I knew exactly, because the messages kept coming up in my life, but it's like it was just so consistent. And then all of a sudden, I paid attention. I was just listening, and I just fed into it, and I was like, it's a possibility that this couldn't be it, 50-50, but I'm gonna just try it. Because that's what your 20s. That's what your 20s is for, is experimenting. Right. And then 30s is for implementing those experiments that you put into play, and then your 40s is for you really just to cool. 40s and 50s, to reap off, the fruits of your labor. So that's what these 20s is for. Take your time. Don't listen to social media, nothing like that. Talking about, I got this and this at this age. I got all these millions. That's cool and all that, but. Like they say, Walt Disney or whoever around that age, he ain't really just hit big until he was like in his 40s. There's been plenty of people, it took time for them to get there. So just don't forget that. Like I say, It's about reading, learn your history,
and be patient with yourself.
Yeah, if you don't know where you came from, you don't know how to navigate where you're going.
Exactly.
So like just doing your homework, reading books, educating your mind. But I was gonna say that all that it helped me find my purpose. It helped me find out what my purpose is gonna be. So as you, it's like basically you gaining clarity. So at first you get a prescription. All right, you get a prescription for the doctor. This is what I know. This is what I need for my eyes. All right, cool. So once you get that, then you put on your glasses. You start to see more. You start to see how you're supposed to see.
Take the rose-colored glasses off. Take the rose-colored glasses off. Get you some clear frames. You know what I'm saying? Clear frames, man. So you can see. And that's some real shit, a lot of us go through things where our judgment is clouded. You can't make a decision. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. And so in that time frame and in that space, take time to yourself. Understand where you're at. Understand the process of going through the journey, because the journey is just as important as the destination. You know, the journey is what makes
the journey is probably more important than the destination, because it's what solidifies
it's what gets you there.
Because the destination is going to be the destination
regardless.
You know, like, you're going to have ups and downs. That's part of it. You know, you just got to know how to turn your downs into ups, because they can definitely be turned into ups. See, we don't get talked about a lot about failure growing up. We always get talked about, you got to do your best, you got to do this,
right,
you got to get this, but you actually learn more from your failures than you do from your successes.
Yes.
Your successes, you just sitting back like, okay, yeah. You know, you're just okay with how you did because it was a success. You don't really look at it the same eye as if it was a failure. With a failure, you're like, okay, yeah, no, I see what I was.
You learn where you can do better.
Okay, yeah, and then you actually grow, you evolve. So that's what it's all about, is evolution.
Right.
Growth. So.
Yep, self-discovery, self-growth, you know, so that's pretty much where we're at, you know, continuing to grow, continuing to study, continuing to love on yourself in the process of self-discovery. You know, it takes...
It sounds so spiritual, but listen, all the hood niggas or whoever listen to, if you're a real nigga, salute to you. All right, more respect to you. I challenge you to just try it for like 2 weeks. Consistently though, hard, devout, you know, driven. Not no half-ass try. A real try. Just give it a try. You know, if it ain't for you, if you just want to, you know, do what you're doing, I bet. I respect to you, you know. It's all love. But I'm just saying, just whoever listening, just give it like 2 weeks. Because like I said, it take a minute to break a habit. It take like 30 days. So really a month.
Yeah, and it takes that same amount
of
time. From
30 days to
habit.
180 days, it take to form a habit. So somewhere around that area. Just give it like a hard, really consistent try with your life. Like, you know, just everything. You got to give it a full try, though. You can't give it, you know, halfway in, halfway out, because that's how I was. After I fully committed, the rest took care of itself. All I'm saying, give it a try and, you know, see how it go for you. So.
Right. Find what works for you. Find what resonates with your soul. Excuse me. Find what connects with you internally, you know. What works for you might not work for me. What works for me might not work for you. You know, so find what literally works for your soul. Find where you're at. Be present with yourself. Learn how to be present in those spaces that may be confusing or may be misunderstanding. You know, take time to learn where you're at. You know, and
be
slow
uncomfortable
down.
with change. Change is good. Change
you gotta
is not
be
bad.
comfortable being uncomfortable,
Yeah,
and that's some real ass shit.
Really, I heard one great. It was like a mantra. It was like it's you're growing and it's uncomfortable, but you're growing.
Right.
So you gotta understand, man. When somebody tells you change, okay, that's great. Question is, you gotta ask them, why haven't you changed? Why are you still the same?
Why are you still
Why
the
you
same?
still in the same place? Why you still
Right.
going to the same spot?
Right.
Why you still drinking the same alcohol? You're
What
supposed
is
to be
this
better.
from?
You growing. You don't want to be the same person. I know y'all done came across people who's the same people and you see where they still at. And then, you know, all love, most respect to you, but I'm just saying, man, like.
And everybody's path is different. You know, everybody's path is different. No one person is on the same path. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Different timetables.
There you go. So even though things may be looking at face value like they're not changing or that they're not any different than where you're at the present moment, that's okay, because that's just like going to the gym. If you go to the gym for 2 weeks straight, you might not see results right away. But if you go to the gym 2 weeks versus 2 months, you're gonna see the results within 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing as the process of being in tune with yourself and taking that time to do internal work. It's the same thing. You know, you might not see progress right away, but as you continue to be consistent with yourself and continuing to thrive and continuing to strive for the goal that you have set for yourself, you're gonna get there. So just be patient with yourself, be mindful of where you're at, and, you know, love on yourself in the process. Fuck what everybody else is talking about. Fuck what anybody is saying. They don't know what the fuck you go through. They don't know what the fuck you're dealing with. So you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Don't ever feel like you have to prove yourself, because the only person you have to prove yourself to is you. You know, the only person you're in competition with is you. So let go of that mindset of having to do something on the terms of somebody else. They're not living your life. They don't know how you living. You know what I'm saying? We all live different lifestyles. We all go through different shit. So what works for you is what works for you. So find that aspect of yourself and stay in tune with the aspect of yourself and really just take time to just be at peace with where you are. You know, learn how to be at peace. If that's something that you're seeking, meditate on being peaceful. Meditate on attracting peaceful people around you. Meditate on being at peace. I know that at one point in time, I think I was the process of losing my mom. All I wanted was peace, internally and externally. Like, that's what I prayed for every fucking day. Like, I kid you not, I woke up every day like, you know, just surround me with peace. As I speak for peace, it's coming into me. It's residing within me, you know. So that's something that I spoke upon. But, you know, what you speak and what you think and what you believe manifests into the physical.
I got a question on that, though. Because I learned, one point thing I learned is, like, whenever you ask something from God, He immediately bring a test. So you ask for peace, but he probably brought trials that
tested you
to give you, like, all right, so let's find out. You say you want peace,
right?
If I give you peace, is it gonna be like, you know, is it gonna be just like you coming back like, all right, God, I'm sorry I messed up, but give me a piece of
and it takes many forms.
And like, that's what I'm saying. So it's gonna be things that come to you immediately. You ask, all right, so something gonna test your peace, like try to shake you up.
So let me tell you. So a lot of the times that, you know, you have to be very specific with what you ask for, like specific to the T. Because if you're not, the universe, if you're asking for something but you're not specific, so the universe will give you something that's not specific. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not specific with what you're asking for, you know. So being mindful and being very specific with what it is that you're praying for, what it is that you're seeking, internally, externally, whatever, you know, it can show up in many different forms. But a lot of the times people take it to where, if I'm asking for something, I need it to show up like this, at this time, with this person, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you have to eliminate that aspect of your expectations as well, and how it's going to show up as well, because people's limited mind frame of their expectations, it clouds their judgment, you know. So it can show up in many different ways, but are you willing to see how it's showing up? You know, are you willing to see that this is what I asked for and it showed up like this? So this is literally what I asked for. I just didn't know it was going to show up like this. But a lot of people refuse to see that. A lot of people do not accept that aspect of it showing up in many different ways. God works in mysterious ways. So if God works in mysterious ways, the same thing that we're asking from God is going to come in mysterious ways as well. You know, so a lot of people have their own thought process of how things should work for them.
It's not going to be blatant.
Right. Exactly. It's not gonna be.
Yes, I knew this was it. No, it's gonna be real subtle. It's gonna be. It's gonna be extreme. It's gonna be very.
But
very
it's the test. That's the test.
He's trying to get you to just like pay attention intently.
And I don't necessarily view God as a man that's sitting in the sky.
I don't mean to say because actually, well, me personally, I feel like a God is like we was talking about a deity. Just whatever you believe God is. God
is something that resonates
because
within
you can see the divinity and everything.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. God is in God is
come down to a
everything.
certain like specific sex where God was. I personally believe that God is a woman because a woman is, you know, the only man can't create life. We can, you know, but y'all can actually create life inside of y'all. You know.
That's funny. I read this book called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And that book put into perspective for me the idea of who we think God is, you know. And I read, I think, the first 2 books, but it's basically a dialogue between the author and who she thought God was, or who he thought God was, you know. And it's a discussion between them in spirit. And so it's answering all these questions like, you know, I'm not somebody that's sitting in the sky, blah, blah. Like, I'm something that resonates. It's like your higher self. You know, if you know what your higher self is, then that's who's speaking to you. You know what I'm saying? That's internal. That's spirit. That's God. That's guiding you. You know, your intuition, whatever you want to, whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? We all believe in different things. We all see things differently. Whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, no scruples here. No judgment, you know. But it's what works for you, you know. And there's different paths to spirituality. There's different paths to religion, you know. I don't necessarily operate from the religion aspect. I've learned how to really open myself up to being more spiritual. And I've said this before, where I view spirituality and religion as religion being a fish in a fish tank versus a fish in the ocean. A fish in the fish tank only knows that one environment, but the fish in the ocean knows multiple environments. It's infinite.
It's like Steve Harvey said, you can put a shark in a fish bowl and it'll grow to that size, but you put a shark in the ocean and it'll grow to its full
Exactly. So that's
not saying that religion is withholding anything, nothing like that. Because you can get something.
It's like being in a box.
You can get some from all religions. Don't get me wrong, But me personally,
that's what spirituality is.
I grew up in church, so I grew up in church. I had to go to church every Sunday until I was like 14 years old, and so it was casted upon me. And if anything, I'm the one who's supposed to turn out Christian the most. And I'm not saying, it's bad. It's not. My mom is a devout Christian. I love my mom to death. This is the fact that I had to sit back one day and I was like, why? About everything. Okay, so why this? Okay, so why that?
Right.
Okay, so if the why this and why that, then why that?
Right.
Okay, so you say why this, why that, and why that. How about this? Why? Why is this? Where did it come from? I had to do all that.
Constantly asking questions.
And just like I found, if I was gonna go to any type of, I guess, religion, it would be probably Buddhism or like the ones that be fasting. That don't eat pork.
Yeah, Muslim.
Yeah, I probably end up. I said I was gonna turn Muslim.
And see, I don't like boxes, so I don't necessarily like to succumb to anything because it's like I'm everything. God is everything.
I guess me saying that, I feel like society's low key makes it to where like you gotta choose, but you don't have to.
Fuck that.
And it's also too nowadays. I do want to say this. Everybody be saying they spiritual like it's a cool little movement,
right?
And now it's just like everybody like, you spiritual, okay? And I'm like,
it's truly a lifestyle, and
I don't want to say I'm spiritual, bro. I'm just me. I'm just open. I'm just me.
Who's serious because you can see it in their daily life. Like it's a whole lifestyle. Like just how religion is a lifestyle. You go to church every Sunday and Wednesday, probably Friday, Saturday. Ain't no telling, you know what I'm saying? But you're there all the time. That's the same thing with spirituality. It's a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? It's something that you consciously choose to do every single day, but it's internal work manifesting in the physical. So you're more mindful of where you're at, you're more mindful of the phases that you're going through, and you're more mindful of those that surround you. You know what I'm saying? What's affecting your lifestyle? And if it's affecting you in a negative way, get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? But so many people just choose the comfort zone, and you'll see that in their lifestyle. You'll see that in how they move.
It's crazy for me seeing somebody who older, like way older than me, like 20, 30. They be like, man, you so wise. I'm like, I'm supposed to be telling you that.
I feel you. And I'm not here to change nobody's life or change anybody's perspective or nothing like that. What you do is on you. That ain't got shit to do with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just basically find what suits you.
Right.
Is
what suits you? Fuck what everybody else talking about. As I said
if it ain't spirituality, cool. Nobody that you hanging around should have a problem with that. Fuck it. Like if they do, fuck them.
It's love, no matter what.
Just love. Like find what makes you more comfortable and just find what makes you more comfortable, what is constructive, not deconstructive. Because I don't like to identify with anything, but just because you find all these things that has like-minded interests with you, don't mean that you have to just completely throw yourself into that. This is not a cult.
Right.
It's just something like each religion is teaching basically the same thing, just in different fashions, different forms. It's just translating the information in different ways to where, we can all be comfortable with that because it's literally all talking about the same, just, a little bit of different stories, different characters, different names, different experiences. But at the same time, when you look at you look out, you don't just look out the window. You looking through the telescope, you looking at the whole vast expanse, everything. It's all talking about the same thing generally is what it's speaking about. So find what you like.
For sure. Find what works for you. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate this discussion that we've had so far. What else we gonna talk about today?
I think 9 calls for one more shot, because after that I'll be good.
Okay. Go ahead. What up? So we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping this up. So today has been a very successful episode. I want to thank you, Coop, for coming on the episode with us, and you guys can expect him to do more episodes with us here soon. He also has his podcast. What's the name of your podcast?
It's called Better Than Silver and Gold. So the B, capitalized T, capital Better Than S, capitalized S, lowercase N, and then Gold. You can get it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, usually whatever you stream platform and stuff. But actually, before this, I just recorded another episode, a different episode with some people that I went to high school with. You know, one of them a business owner. Shout out to Lauren J. You know, her business HDK. House de Culture, I want to say that's the name of it. It was really great. Like, man, I'm talking about that episode. Like, we went ups and downs, and I started tearing up because it was talking about the loss of their best friend, and like I was cool with her, but I wasn't best friends like them. But we was real, like that was my like when I seen her out, like she put me on that type of energy, like what's up, what's good, come on, hey, what's good, you know. So man, it was crazy, man. We talked about everything, so that was tap in with that because I think I'm going once they chop it down and edit and all that, I'm gonna try to get it out either Friday or Saturday. Hopefully I'll have it out by then, and then you know, because like I say, and I told you about this, I ain't really just did the whole video aspect. My first 5-6 episodes was mainly audio, mainly because of lack of resources. But now that I'm, you know, I got the proper resources and I'm in the, you know, I'm doing everything going how it's supposed to go. You know, it's kind of like clockwork now. Like, I just recorded one then, and then I really kind of low-key forgot about this one. I was like, oh, yeah, so it's another one. So now it's just all organically just happening. I don't even got to, like, actually, like, force it like I did before.
It's
like,
flowing in.
All right, I know I got to record an episode. All right, let me just, all right, so, yeah, what's good, man? So now it's just like, all right, so it's just, I just got to show up and just do me.
Right.
What I'm used to doing, so.
Yeah.
And
can you give us your social media and where to find you?
So my Instagram, my personal Instagram is Coop with 5 O's and then Coop and then 2 underscores. And then I want to say the Instagram for the podcast is Better Than Silver and Gold. The email is Better Than Silver and Gold @gmail. I want to say I got a Twitter. It's been a while since I've been on there. My personal Twitter is Coop23, DARRIN, my first name. And then everything else, like my TikTok, or whatever, and Facebook should just be Darian Cooper, my first and last name.
Perfect. I'll post everything up for you guys so you guys can follow him on social media if you would like to stay connected to him. So we're gonna wrap up the episode. Wrapping it up, what would you like to say to everybody, you know, just watching this shit?
I'm gonna say this: anything that's worth having doesn't come easy. So that's just the conclusion of everything we talked about. It's gonna be hard. This path gonna be hard just because, man, it's the road less traveled. As you can see, it's a lot of people that's not really just on really just trying to understand and connect with themselves. You know, it's a lot of consumerism and capitalism going on nowadays, but you gotta understand, man, the most important asset that you can acquire and not a liability is yourself.
Facts.
Like understanding yourself and, you know, treating yourself as the most valuable thing walking. Of course, you got, you know, family and you got kids. I do understand that. You know, that's a whole different topic right there. But just because you, like I say, like the analogy earlier, you can't heal nobody unless you heal people. Mm-hmm. So you got to make sure you're good first. And then, because the person you seeing now, that's the reason, like, I was going to say, I ain't recorded an episode since April 27 this year just because I know I had to get myself together first. I can't do what I want to do until I just come back to home base. All right, so I'm a little off. I need to find out what's off.
Right.
Start doing some self-diagnosing.
Yep.
You know, low key. And I'm not a professional like that, but just doing the most I can and, you know, what I'm capable of. All right, so, you know, I feel like this off. Okay, so let me remember this. Take notes of this. All right, let me read about this. Let me look up some videos about this. So just doing that. Doing what you got to do to get, you know, because, you know, like y'all do the whole thing with the chakras and all that. So yeah, man, just finding off why you feel off, you know. But like I said, life is all about balance. You gotta have duality. You gotta have both. You gotta have the yin and the yang.
Light and the dark, left and the right.
Yeah. So you can't just have it good in your life. You know, as much as, because nobody, I don't know, care. Nowadays they show the highlights. That's not because people gonna be more. You know, people it sparks people interest more of the highlights because it's what they're required to be, but nobody's showing the blueprint, the layout, what got them to the highlights. Mm-hmm. This is just all about showing you showing you step 1 through 9, not just 10. You know, just want to, you know, help everybody get on that type of time, especially most important people of color, not just black people, but people of color. You know, like we got Jewish people got their own business, Jewish people got their own time. Chinese people got Chinatown and all that. Mexican people got their own thing. As black people, we don't have nothing. We don't have nothing that's ours. Like, hey, don't fuck with this. It's sacred. Yep. We ain't got that. And this is what we're on the path to building, man. Just, you know, keeping a dollar, all within us, like, circulate. The black person download circulate for like 7 seconds. Everybody else sometimes 12 days, 15 days, 30 days. So we got to think about that, and we spend the most money than everybody else, but yet we make the least. How's that? So just being cognizant and understanding, and just all about growth, honestly.
Facts. I appreciate that. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank y'all for tuning in to Key's Corner. And like I said, we bringing y'all some good shit. We got some new stuff in the works behind the scenes. So y'all just keep paying attention to what we have going on, what you guys can expect. If you're not following the social medias, you can follow us on Instagram at Ascension Ave, as well as Shreveport Live. I think it's Shreveport Live _. You can also follow us on Facebook, Ascension Ave and Shreveport Live. YouTube, Shreveport Live. You can find this episode on YouTube as well under Key's Corner on Shreveport Live. If y'all would like to just be a part of the discussion, let us know, and we will definitely involve you guys in our next few episodes. If you guys have questions,
if you're like a business owner or a person that got your own creative endeavor that you're working on,
please reach out to us.
Please reach out, because I'm trying to have more people on my podcast. I already got some that's in the works of being set up, but just hit me up on my social media, and you can come and talk your talk, whatever you need to get off your chest, or just putting yourself out there to get more people exposed to it. Don't be shy. It's all about exposure. It's about you discovering people and all that. So yeah.
Right. We are sharing space for everybody. It doesn't matter where you're at on your path. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you call yourself. It doesn't matter about any of that. We want to basically just create this safe space for everybody.
That book of the week?
Yeah, let's do it. So he has a thing that he does on his podcast where he usually does a song of the week, book of the week, whatever it is that resonates with him. So we want to share this with you guys. So we're going to do a book of the week, and I also have a song of the week. Okay, so we're going to release that for you guys and just get in that zone, and we're going to do this, let's say once every week or once every other week. We're just going to try to put that out there as much as consistent as we can for you guys. Okay, so the book of the week
and just for like this first episode. Okay. So I write poetry, right? So I constructed a poem. There was poetry slam I was supposed to go to, but I never got a chance to go to.
Okay.
I sent it to a good bit of people in my circle, and they said it was really good. So I'm going to see, before I get a book of the week and track of the week, can I read the poem?
Of course. Do what you do. This is the safe space. Share.
All right. So the book of the week is, I feel like everybody need to go check this out. If you haven't, we probably already have, but it's called The 4 Agreements by Don Ruiz. It just got these 4 principles and these things that you start putting into work in your personal life, and it helps you towards personal growth. So you got don't take anything personal. Always be impeccable with your word. Always do your best, and don't make assumptions. And so you become a practitioner. You basically put those in development in your life, and it really just real talk. If you just really just give 1,000%, not 100. I ain't talking 100. We don't do 100% over here. You give every fiber of your being to whatever you do, because the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So, yeah, man, you just put these into practice, and you will really start to see, like, I'm telling you, bro, like, don't make assumptions for a week. And then, like, that goes to where you got to ask questions. Now that you can't make assumptions, you got to step out your comfort zone. I didn't want to do that, but I had to, but it helped. It helped on my path. Like, real talk, it helped me, like, not, like, it helped just put me ahead. All right, don't take anything personal. There's going to be a lot of things that people say. People understand because it's a projection of what they live in and what they going through. So just because somebody says something about you or gives a certain opinion doesn't mean that opinion is fact. It's subconsciously and indirectly biased, but they're not realizing it, and neither do us. So don't take anything personal. Only what you see is what you see. I cannot tell you about what you see.
Right.
Like what you're seeing right now, you see it, but I can't see what you're seeing. So yeah, man, but yeah, always do your best, giving your best foot with everything that you do. No matter what it is, like I say, giving 1,000%. It don't matter what you do. It can be from cleaning your house to, this big job interview that you're preparing for. Just staying on top of that. And then trying to think of the last one. Don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. And be impeccable with your word. That's just basically the power of manifestations and speaking stuff to existence. Fruition and all that. So that And then, do you want to get a song of the week? You want me to give it to it?
I got a song of the week. If you want to do 2 songs, that's fine
You
too.
can do it. It's like in the book.
But I got the song of the week, and it's been coming up in my readings and things like that, in my dreams as well. So, Family Ties by Baby Keem, I think that's the name. Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar. Let me see if I can play a little. Let's see. Family Ties by Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar.
You got the one who's like, let's get this shit.
Hold on. I'm about to let you sample real quick. I'm gonna play a little sample. Gotta get out of the ad real quick. Shit.
I know that.
Who paying for pro is not me. But this has been coming up in my dreams a lot. I had a dream the other day, and Family Ties came up, and some other stuff I was doing in the meantime, between time.
Oh yeah, I heard this.
I think I can only play like the first 15 seconds. But yeah, Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar, Family Ties. You know what I'm saying? So that's a song that's been with me for the last like week or two. So I'm going to put that out there for y'all. So that's the song of the week. We had the book of the week. And then what else did you want to do?
Oh, this poem that I wrote.
Okay, so he going to spit the poem for y'all real quick, and then we going to wrap it up. Okay, so go ahead.
So disclaimer, I wrote this poem like 30 to 45 minutes while I was at work.
Okay.
Most of the time when I write, it comes to me in inspiration. I can't just sit down and just, all right, I'm going to write this poem. I go months without writing, just because I don't feel like feeling. But it's something it's really a backstory behind this. But anyways, so the title is Never Heard I Love You Until I Heard I Love You. Alright, so it goes, love's the only drug that love us as soon as we're birthed from love. But the consistent absence of love and missed hugs can lead to drugs. Personally, I never felt love while growing up. I never heard love but seen Henny in hypnotic filled cups. Conceived out of a hospital around the block from a Section 8 house. The section that feasted on the ignorant but innocent. I never knew love until I heard I loved you. I loved you. I never knew love until I met my ex through sex, through rebellion and stress, dodging classes and flunking tests. The first time I heard I loved you was from the one I thought I would have married. But was that actually love though, or was it lust? I don't think I've ever really felt unconditionally loved. Real quick story. I called my mom while I was on the job just because, the Almighty put a feeling in my heart. I called, but she didn't pick up. I went on about my day. Later on that day, she called back and I asked her, hey mom, can you remember last time you told me that you love me? Silence casted over the phone as she pondered and thought. She said, no, not really, but I show my love through actions. That's when I realized that love comes in many, many different shapes and forms. She went on to say, I guess I didn't really say it much because my mom didn't say it much. From generation to generation to generation. And it's crazy. So my message is simple. Show and be vocal with your love, especially the one that's unconditional.
Facts. I like that. I like it because love does come in many different forms, and a lot of people, like I said, their expectations of they can only love as much as they love themselves, and so many people's perception of love is really skewed. They have one idea of love when love shows up in many different forms. How I love you is different acts of love. There's different love languages, that was absolutely some people love by cooking for others or caring for others or taking care of other people, and some people love by physical touch. Some people love by intellectual conversation. Some people, there's many different forms of love. So for you to share that with us on today, I really appreciate that. That's beautiful.
I feel like it needed to be shared. I don't know who needed to hear that.
Right. Somebody
had to be
read.
I wrote it for somebody to hear.
Somebody needs to hear.
And I don't like just to have it in my phone.
Right. So thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. And so if y'all want to hear some more of Coop's poems, y'all hit him up on Instagram.
Yeah, man, let me know.
Hey, follow him on social media, whatever y'all want to do to keep that connection open.
Right.
But we want to share that with you guys today. And hopefully this message on this episode resonates with somebody out there. We want to continue to pour into you guys as we've poured into ourselves, as we've done this work for ourselves. We want to continue to share that with you guys so we can help somebody on their journey. So it's all love here. This is a safe space. This is a sacred space. So, no judgment here, no scruples. You can be yourself. You can be as open as you want to be. And, we're just gonna build off of that. So it's all love here, and we appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, follow us on all the social medias. I will be posting everything in the description and where you can find us. If y'all want to send us questions or you want to be a part of the discussion, let us know in the comments, or send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got. But we gonna keep it coming for y'all. We got some more shit coming for y'all.
Feedback, man. Crowdsourcing. So
yes,
telling us what y'all like in order for us to,
right.
all right. So this is what they feeling. This is your. I don't know if all right, bet. So kind of just y'all giving us a blueprint of how y'all what y'all vibe is. It's a vibe shit.
Right. What works for everybody, how we can build this community together. So, it's all love. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, I'm Kiara. Y'all can call me Key. This is Key's Korner. And
I'm Coop, man. Just like I say, man, just simply Coop, man. So yeah, just mess with us, man. Yeah, and we'll be back soon. This is the first of many. Really, that's what you don't know, but yeah.
Right. All right. Well, that's it for y'all. Y'all have a good week. We will try to get this episode out as soon as possible, and we will see y'all next time. It's love. Peace, y'all.